Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I really wanted to talk about the 2-week wait, as you would call it. The 2-week wait is basically 2 weeks from the day you ovulated and basically conceived to the day that you find out you are pregnant. So it's those 2 weeks in between where you don't have high enough levels and you can't tell if you're pregnant or not yet. Now, usually people say that you don't have symptoms during those 2 weeks and maybe even sometime after, but I'm pretty sure that the things that I was feeling were straightforward pregnancy symptoms. So after finding out that I was pregnant, I was able to kind of calculate when I ovulated, as I change weeks every Wednesday. So I started new week every Wednesday, and basically I am right on time. So measurements come back to that day. So I ovulated around the, I think, 18th of May, at which point all was good, all was well. Now please keep in mind that we weren't exactly trying to get pregnant, but we weren't exactly being very careful that specific month. A couple days after my ovulation day, I started feeling a bit odd. So I started feeling very lightly nauseous. Now, I do get sick and a bit dizzy when we drive. So when we go visit my mum and we drive long distance, I do get a bit sick. But this was nausea when I'm just sitting at home doing nothing. And I just felt these queasy little feelings. So I didn't really think much of it. I was just like, maybe some bug or something. Then I also had these odd hot flashes. So I would be lying in bed and it was actually rather chilly at the time. And I would get these hot flashes, like my legs would just burn up and I'd be like, what's going on? And then to top it all up, I also had breast tenderness. Now, usually when I'm expecting my period, about, I don't know, 5 days before maybe, my breasts do start getting rather tender and sore, but very specifically on the sides of my breasts. So without wanting to be too TMI, along the sides here. Never mind high breasts, never do they really get like engorged, etc. So my breasts started getting very tender and I felt like they started to grow. And I found that very odd. I was kind of like, what was going on? So again, at the time, I didn't really think much of it. I was just like, okay, weird things happening. It wasn't until later that I kind of put 2 and 2 together and realised that something's going on here. Now, as the time progressed, as the weeks progressed, there was about 5 DPO, which is 5 days past ovulation. So I was about 9 days before my period was due. And the nausea started getting stronger. So I started getting really nauseous really easily. Then my breast tenderness started getting crazy. So my breasts were hurting. Like, it was painful to touch them. It was painful. Oh my God. And they started growing bigger, basically. So this is really weird for me, as I usually am a smaller size, and I'm fine with that. But they started getting bigger and like fuller, and I was like, okay, there's something going on here. I started getting the idea in my head that, could I be pregnant? Like, what is this? So I started thinking that I could be pregnant. And I decided, you know what, I'll just get a test. I'll do it. Comes out negative, at least my period will start all good. So I did get a couple of pregnancy tests, and at about 8 days post-ovulation, so about a week before my period was due, ATPO, I tested and it was negative. So I was like, okay, it's negative, that is what it is. Now I can just wait for my period to come in a few days. After I did the test, also probably due to my mind thinking, okay, you're expecting your period now, I started getting cramps. So they started quite light. As a normal period would start, I usually get breast tenderness and light cramping. And then I have like full-blown cramps right as my period starts. Now, I started getting these cramps ATPO, and they continued to get stronger. as the days went by. So even at 10, 11 DPO, I still haven't gotten my period, but I have really strong period cramps. So I thought, you know what, I'll test again. I mean, maybe for some reason my mind is still stuck on the fact that I could be pregnant. So I did test again at about 11 DPO, and at that moment I looked at it and I was like, okay, it's negative. And I kind of looked at it again, and for some weird reason I felt like there was a second line, but it wasn't exactly a line, but I felt like there was something there. There was something like, just one of those moments where you're kind of like, is it a trick of the light or am I just seeing things? So I just said, okay, fine, it's negative. My cramps are getting really bad at this point, but no period to be seen. And I also noticed the same day, after showering, I noticed that I started getting these little red spots all over here on my arms. So both my arms were covered in these little red spots, which I later read that they are also a pregnancy symptom. It has something to do with the blood vessels, etc. I'm not really sure about that, but little red, like blood little dots have to do with that as well. So after seeing this, I was like, what are these? What's going on? I kind of put it aside again as usual, and I had tested on a Sunday, and the next day, Monday morning, sitting at my computer, just doing some work, just looking up stuff on the internet, and I felt this strong urge to look at the old test. Now, I hadn't thrown it away, I don't know why, I just kind of really took a draw at that point, didn't pay attention to it. So I just got up for no reason and looked at the test, and it was positive. The ink had kind of fallen into the little line of the control line and had changed colour. Now, I had heard about evap lines, I heard about all sorts of things happening after the 5 minutes that you should wait to see and then not look at it again. So I was kind of like, okay, so an evap line, don't get your head into a mess, don't. But I couldn't help but think like, what is this? So I quickly, of course, went on to Google, because that's what you do in these kind of cases. So I went on to Google and I looked it up, evap lines, and why would it change colour afterwards. I found a lot of women saying that they had gotten evap lines, that they weren't pregnant, but the test turned out positive at a later time. But then I also found this reply from a obstetrician, as well as I think he was a scientist of some sort and actually worked for a company that made pregnancy tests. So he actually said that the pregnancy test control line is made in such a way that will only change colour if it comes in contact with the specific pregnancy hormone. So I was kind of like, okay, so what does that mean? So literally, this is like Monday morning. I held my pee for the next 7 hours. Incredible feat. And I took a test in the afternoon, Monday afternoon, 12 DPO. So this is literally 2 days before I get my period. And I was cramping. My cramps were really bad, but I was still kind of like, what's going on? So I took the test and I waited and I sat there. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law were actually sitting outside, no idea, no clue. And I'm sitting in the bathroom waiting for the test. And I'm kind of like, it's not going to be anything. I mean, plus it's afternoon as well. They usually say there has to be morning urine and all that stuff. And I look at the test and it was positive. It was just blatantly clear as day positive. And I sat there looking at it like, what? What? So I had also ordered a few other tests because I was kind of like, you know what, I should have them around for the future, because it was actually a bit tricky for me to get pregnancy tests where I live, because I live in a little village, etc. And so I did have a few as well as a digital on hand. I kind of freaked at that moment. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, am I pregnant? Am I gonna be a mum? What? So I remember just kind of taking a test, hiding it in my room. I didn't say anything to anyone. I didn't tell my husband, I didn't tell anyone, like no one. And I decided I was just going to test it next morning, and if they came out positive, I was going to try, I remember, one of the Clear Blue Plus ones, as well as another cheapie that I had. And if they came out positive again in the morning, I was then going to use the Clear Blue Digital and confirm it and then tell my husband. So the next morning I got up nice and early. Everyone actually found it weird that I got up that early, but I was like, you know, whatever. So I got up early and I went to the bathroom and I did the tests, and I actually did at that moment 3 tests. I was literally crazy. I was going crazy. I was like, there's no way. And I remember the Clear Blue Plus just went plus straight away. Like, it instantly was positive, and then the other 2 showed up positive, and I was freaking out. I was, oh my god, I'm pregnant. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna have a baby. And I rushed to my room and I got the digital test, and I was like, okay, let's see the words. If we see the words, then I will, you know. So I did the digital and it said pregnant 2 to 3 weeks, and I was in shock. I was excited and terrified, and all these emotions were kind of just like, oh my god, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, so I just went to my room, and I remember my husband was just getting ready to go help his dad with something, and I just said to him, can you just come inside for a second, I want to tell you something. And he was like, oh, what's wrong? And I went inside and I just held up the test. And just stood there looking at him like, and he looked at it and he's like, no, you're not. Tess looked at it. He's like, you're not. I'm like, I am. I'm pregnant. And he was just like, ah. It actually, I think it actually took us a couple weeks to kind of get used to the idea, and even more for my husband. I felt like sick and really awful afterwards anyway, so I was convinced pretty much. But I don't think it was until our first appointment that it was really set in. Now also another thing that I found really important was that I still had intense cramps. Like, I had really bad cramps, like as if I had my period at that point. I was cramping really bad, like it was really painful. And as much as I read that it's normal to have some cramping, it's not normal to have so much cramping and so much pain, because that means that your body's getting ready to have a menstrual cycle. What happens when you get pregnant is that your progesterone levels go up, and automatically this stops your period. So it stops the wall from breaking down in your uterus and keeps it there and strengthens it in order for the baby to be welcomed into your uterus. So what was happening with me was that I had low progesterone levels, which is actually causing my body to want to start my period and basically break down the uterine wall and cause a miscarriage at that point. So I was 4 weeks pregnant. I contacted my doctor, and he of course told me that too early to come in and see anything, but come and do a test to confirm the pregnancy, etc. Just do some blood work and we'll go from there. So I did my blood work, and the levels did show up as low, and he actually gave me progesterone supplements. So I had the suppositories, I think they're called, and I had to take like 3 a day, so like 600 grams a day. And actually, after the second, third one I took, the cramps went away. So the cramping stopped, pain stopped. Whilst before it was really painful, like if I walked too long or got very tired, I would start getting really strong pain. So basically I almost had a miscarriage, and I am very grateful and very lucky that my doctor, even though my levels were not extremely low, he still was able to link the fact that I didn't have a certain number, I didn't have progesterone levels above a certain number, and plus I had the cramping. So even to support the pregnancy and just to be sure, we still gave me progesterone, which basically saved my baby. So that is something that I haven't really found anywhere. Even though I researched it afterwards and looked it up, there are very few people who mention that you can suffer an early miscarriage by not realizing that you have low progesterone levels. And the funny thing was actually that my mother also had very low progesterone levels with me and had cramping and pain and almost lost me. So usually it's not like, it doesn't get like, oh, my mum was like that so I have it too. It just happened that way. But because the idea was already in my head, I was able to figure it all out pretty much. That pretty much covers those first 2 weeks. Finding out I'm pregnant. I did have symptoms before, even though everyone says that you don't have symptoms until the egg has been embedded into your uterine wall. I'm pretty sure I had symptoms 2-3 days after I conceived. I'm 100%. It just maybe my body just had a stronger sense of, I don't know, my body was just more in tune with pregnancy. It found it weird and wanted to show me. But the fact that I found out as early as possible is what also helped me start progesterone early and basically save my baby. So I am happy that my body was able to help me in that aspect. Yeah, so that is all for this video. Hope you guys liked it. Pretty much my sappy little story, and all the different little symptoms and stuff I had. Please look after yourself and always double check everything. When you think you're pregnant, don't just leave it. Always go check, always test, because you never know. There are many women who lose their babies early on because they just didn't know. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. It's heartbreaking. So that's all for this video. I will see you guys in my next video. And yeah, bye!